Greetings, fellow viewers, and welcome back to the channel. This dark evening, I, Bigwyn the Great, will reveal to you a game most dark and terrible, sure to curdle the brain and destroy your reason. A game even the nameless Seraphim does not wish you to play. A game devious and seditious in its simple capacity to corrupt. A game...
Bigwyn, what are you doing? Why are you in the studio? Don't you have a painting video to edit?
Yes, Fell Master.
Wait, what have you got there?
The Forbidden Game, Master. A game of ancient eldritch...
Ooh, zombies. Let's play. We love an excuse to play a horror game at Nameless Seraphim Gaming, so we couldn't let Halloween pass without a recommendation for your spooky get-togethers this year. Zombies from Twilight Creations is a game that my friends and I have been playing for at least a decade, and like all good games, it doesn't just come off the shelf in October. A small disclaimer, the version of the game that we have in the studio is the second edition Director's Cut, and we know full well that there are changes to cards, game modes, and other rules in the third edition. But even if we were to obtain the most recent edition, it would seem odd to review this game based on an edition we could only hope to play a couple of times, rather than the version with which we are familiar, so we're sticking with our old faithful. In the box you will find a large number of map tiles, a deck of event cards, 2 dice, life and bullet tokens, and 6 plastic shotgun-toting player models to represent you and your fellow players on the board. Oh yes, and 100 plastic zombie miniatures. The miniatures from this game are not high detail, but are more than adequate to convey their roles at a glance and to sell the ever-growing threat before you. Taking its thematic elements from Day of the Dead, Resident Evil, The Walking Dead, and all those other great zombie franchises, Zombies sees you and your fellow players fighting your way across a zombie-infested city. You can win by reaching the helicopter pad, which will appear from the map tiles deck at random, and killing the zombie on the center square. Alternatively, you can try to be the first player to have 25 zombies in their pile of kills. Each player turn will add an additional block to the city and with it additional zombies. The map tiles include unnamed areas of the city with zombies present at each road exit, but some map tiles include named buildings. Named buildings start with a high concentration of zombies, but they also are the only source of bullet and life tokens, which will likely be key to your survival.
Turn by turn, you will place a tile and then roll a die to determine how far your character can move. If your movement intersects tiles with zombies, they must be fought and killed before you can proceed. Your odds? 50-50. Roll a 4 or more and the zombie is added to your pile of killed zombies and may help you win the game. Bullets can be used to modify the result of your roll, and life tokens allow you to try again. Were the number of zombies encountered in the game minimal, you'd feel you had good odds of getting out of the city alive. But although the game starts with no zombies on the map at all, the horde rapidly increases in number, and your bullets and life tokens will regularly be all that stand between you and death.
These simple, easy-to-learn mechanics emulate the core concept of the game surprisingly well. Lots of games have tried to create the feeling that you are trapped in a sprawling city infested by swarms of the Walking Dead, but there is something truly isolating about moving your single, tiny character piece around the board, making judgment calls as to how many zombies you can deal with considering the resources you have left, that translates excruciatingly into the horror of an actual zombie movie. The fickleness of the dice mechanic only adds to this. Sometimes luck is just against you, and you will go into a fight feeling like you could easily take on the horde, only for a few unlucky rolls to put you on the back foot. The reality is, in a game with so many dice rolls and such a high zombie count to win, at some point your luck will run out.
If Lady Luck doesn't finish you personally, rest assured that your fellow players will. Each turn you will also roll to see how many zombies you can move by a single space. You can, of course, clear a path for yourself by doing so, but only one of you can get away on that helicopter, So, if your best friend is getting a little too close to the finish line, you can either use the horde to slow them down, or kiss goodbye to any chance you'll escape the city.
If you are the sort of person that experiences genuine anger when your plans are sabotaged by those people you asked to play that you used to call friends, this may not be a particularly positive attribute, but it is core to the way that the game plays. Friends are for a civilized world, and unfortunately civilization left this city a long time ago.
Event cards, which can be played by anyone at any time, further add to the chaotic feel of the game. Some will increase your chances of escaping alive, some have no purpose other than to thwart your fellow humans in their plans, or to let all hell break loose.
Other versions of the game do contribute other ways to play, and there are a wide selection of expansions and spin-offs to this game. Any thought we had of trying these out to recommend the best ones to you swiftly died the moment we saw what an absolute horde of expansion content exists for this game. But among these expansions you will find Zombies 4, The End, which among other things adds 100 zombie dogs to your games, and spoiler alert, this is not in fact the end of the expansions.
Zombies 12, Zombie Zoo. Yes, you guessed it. Zombie lions, polar bears, monkeys, and so forth.
Zombies 9, Ashes to Ashes, which takes place in a cemetery and features new, creepy zombie children minis.
And our personal favourite concept, Humans, where you take the side of the zombies and attempt to eat your way to victory.
That's without mentioning the recent Kickstarter to fund a 20th anniversary edition of the game, which added upgraded components and further content. And we haven't played any of these. It seems almost sacrilegious to add greater complexity to a game that has such clean, well-executed and easy-to-understand core rules, but if you subsequently find yourself craving other ways to play, Zombies certainly delivers. Like many of the franchises on which it undoubtedly draws inspiration, Zombies is far from perfect. We admit some frustration with the event card mechanic, particularly the acquisition of weapons, which often can only be played within a specific named building on the map. In practice, because the arrival of these tiles is random and not guaranteed, odds are that players will not take the long odds of a powerful advantage at some point, and discard these cards in favour of a more immediate advantage, leaving a considerable chunk of the event deck unused.
This game, Most Foul, also has the potential to outstay its welcome. The ready availability of cards to disrupt your path to victory can significantly increase game length. When your character finally dies, the game is not over for you. Instead, you'll lose half the zombie kills you have accrued and return to the town square, representing a major setback to victory. We've seen over-competitive games of zombies conclude only once the exhaustion of several of the players is such that they support one of the other survivors to bring the game to its end. Of course, you could argue that this is just another way that the game emulates the despair of existence within a zombie apocalypse, but Victor assures me this is besides the point.
With regret, we also cannot recommend this game for younger gamers, albeit that this is obviously a judgment call for you as responsible parents, as while much of the game's horror occurs in abstract, the crystal clear graphics of the cards, which often stray into some relatively strong cartoon gore, push it into a much higher minimum age bracket than we might feel was warranted otherwise. Ultimately, none of these fatal flaws spoil our enjoyment of this game. Zombies has enough meat to satisfy board game aficionados, at least briefly, but the core rules of the games are straightforward enough for your non-gamer friends to give it a try. This makes it an ideal party game, whether at Halloween or at any other time of year. Good game, Bigwyn, good game. Back to work with you now. Hope the review was helpful, everyone, and until next time.
Fellmaster,
Yes, Bigwyn?
might I say the outro? Just this once. I have been a most loyal servant.
Sounds creepy when you say it.
I has been practising most diligently, master.
Oh, go on then. It is Halloween, I suppose.
We hope you have most dark and spooky Halloweens, fell viewers, and until next time, work hard, play better, and take care out there.